So, Mark, did you see this cool new technology that American Airlines is rolling out? Because we never had technology that could do this before, that will beep at the gate agent to tell them that the person trying to board isn't in the group so people can't cut the line. Like, is this that hard to implement? Why didn't they do this 20 years ago?
I feel like it has done, like it goes like or something, for at least some carriers. I thought it might be something like "get back in the line, loser." Like I thought, when I saw the headline, I'm like, that's what they should do. I'm so tired of people like gumming up around the gate though when they're, oh, I'm zone 6. They're calling zone 1. What are you doing? Like, get out of the way. It was terrible in Orlando a couple days ago. Couldn't even get there. Two flights boarding at the same time right next to each other. Just a mess of people. But what's worse, the line cutters or the people that try to exit the plane before it gets to their row?
The people who try to exit the plane. But I want to point out one big
Right
lie
answer.
in this press. I want to point out one big lie in this press release. It says American Airlines said that a gate agent will politely let the customer know when they are not, in the spot that they're supposed to be. When has an American Airlines gate agent ever politely done anything?
Never.
So, from polite American employees to impolite Delta employees, this is an interesting story. A Delta employee was recently caught selling Delta merchandise on eBay that he had allegedly taken, and like $50,000 worth or something like that. All right, they said it was worth over 100,000, and he sold it for less. But basically, this account on eBay they noticed had a lot of merchandise. They investigated, found one of their employees was taking it. They found a ton of merchandise at his house and in his car. And I guess this is big business selling these. A lot of these were like employee gifts and other things that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's weird that he had access to it because I think he was like a mechanic or worked, in that area. I don't know. What are they keeping, like AirPods or something around to give out to employees? I don't know. And if you're selling all this stuff like Delta swag or something, that's kind of weird. When I first saw the headline, I'm like, oh, he's like stealing from passengers, or they're leaving stuff behind and he's grabbing it and selling it. That's what I thought this would go into. And when they said they're stealing Delta stuff, what are you selling? Like tires? I don't. It's so weird.
When he got caught and arrested, he made his phone call, and I guess not realizing the phone call's recorded, the police say that he basically admitted to doing the whole thing on the phone call. Don't do that. Everything's
I
recorded.
mean,
I don't know. It's not a great,
all the
or
all the crap in his
diversify.
car and his house pretty much told that already.
What if he had 10 eBay accounts? Maybe they wouldn't have caught on to him so fast. I don't know. You put this much effort into something, I feel like try to find a
Yeah, you
legitimate
better.
business. And
Sell a couple on an eBay account, close it down, open up another one. Like if you're gonna do this, I don't know. Criminals are stupid. One, don't steal. Definitely, this is serious stuff. But two, if you're going to steal, like think about things. How am I gonna get caught? I don't know. Some of these stories that we cover of people getting caught, it's like, how stupid are you?
so staying with airlines and Frontier and Spirit. Spirit's been in a lot of trouble. We talk about Spirit, low cost carriers. You just flew them to Orlando. Everybody loves to like trash Spirit in the country. I feel like that's the airline that people, if they're going to talk trash about an airline, like, they're slumming it when they're flying, they're going to say Spirit. And their financials are not great. They've had some issues with debt. There was rumors of bankruptcy, and they're kind of need help here, I think. And there's rumors that the Frontier merger that they may be trying to get this going. Spirit's tried to merge before, JetBlue, and that didn't go through. And this would make them the fifth largest carrier if this went through. And I don't see a reason why it wouldn't if they actually pursue this and they can get a deal working. We've seen all these other mergers. Frontier Spirit makes a ton of sense. I think that their products go well together. And I think they probably needed both to compete in the current marketplace.
I was kind of like going back and forth on this, like if they can't or if they block the JetBlue and Spirit one, would this be the same type of thing? And I mean, the one thing they have going for it is we've seen a couple new low cost carriers come on, like Breeze and stuff, the last few years. So at least it wouldn't be detrimental to the competition, and it would keep them as a low cost carrier. I think that was one of the big issues was if Spirit goes out, it becomes JetBlue. JetBlue's not really a low cost carrier. That hurts competition, where this just strengthens them as a low cost carrier. They do have some overlap, but not a ton or as much as you might think. So I do think it would work, or they would actually have more than one flight to one place on certain days, maybe two or three, so they don't get people stranded as much. I think it would make a lot of sense to go through. Spirit definitely needs it. They're barely staying out of bankruptcy, just got an extension on their debt. So something needs to happen here. Maybe this will be it. And I don't know. I don't want to I hate Frontier.
I mean, Frontier is great. Just time after time I fly them, people say it. I mean, I don't love Frontier, but so many good flights on them. I'm
Yeah.
starting to think that it's not a coincidence. But I agree. I think that they go together. There are markets like Vegas is a market where they have overlapping on many routes. So, that could hurt us here. But yeah, the airlines need help. They're only 9% combined of the total thing. And this all sort of works together. I think eventually this is going to happen or Spirit is going to go into bankruptcy. I don't see another option for them. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But Hyatt is taking over Margaritaville in Cap Cana. This is interesting. And it's not going to be Margaritaville anymore, which I want to stay at one of these
Which is
Margaritavilles.
sad.
They have a big one in Orlando. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of sad about that. Like, why can't Hyatt take it over and it stays Margaritaville? That's sort of what I want. But basically, this newish project been Margaritaville, the owners not having a great time with that company, and now they're going to become Dreams Cap Cana with Hyatt. It looks like a beautiful property.
Yeah, I hope that they keep some of the, the feels of Margaritaville. And I've wanted to go to the one. My dad really wants to go one. I think it's in like Fort Myer or something, down in Florida area, and that's the newest one, I believe. But he really wants to go there, and I'm like, well, I'm not paying cash to go there. So I saw the story. I'm like, yes. Is Hyatt going to keep it as Margaritaville? We can use points there, and then saw it is not going to be that way. And then, when you think about it, the all-inclusive properties under Hyatt's umbrella have basically doubled in price the last couple of years. So it's not even super affordable, on a point stay for these all-inclusives. So it's kind of sad too. Like, we'll have to see where this lands. A lot of times when things come online, they're too low and then they go up after a year or two. So maybe we'll get lucky with this. Either that or they're too high and nobody uses it. So we'll have to see which way they shoot.
I heard there's a cool Margaritaville resort in Texas that everybody wants to go see. That's a little bit of an inside joke, but there are Margaritavilles all over. There's a really cool one in Orlando that I want to stay at. There's one in Biloxi that used to be a casino, so they're all over the place. But seriously, Margaritaville looks like a cool brand. I want to try it. Love me Margaritaville. Just some nachos, some pool time, and the one in Orlando looks really cool. That's the one that's been on my list, but not as cool as the Conrad and the Evermore, but we'll talk about that later. So on to some credit card news, and the end date is near for the Ink Unlimited offer. That's the $900 bonus after $6,000 in purchases in the first 3 months, 0 annual fee. And this offer ends November 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern. So don't be like me and just think November 7th, just November 6th. Just be safe.
Yeah. Yeah, just say the evening of November 6th, this thing's done. Especially if you live on the West Coast, because you probably won't wake up in time to take advantage of it. And this is one of the best offers we've seen on the card, one of the better offers for a business card. And once you earn these points, if you have a annual fee Ultimate Rewards earning card like the Sapphire Preferred, Sapphire Reserve, or the Ink Business Preferred, you can transfer those points over and make them transferable currency, or move the points over to the card with the annual fee, and then you can transfer them to the partner. So it's basically like 90,000 points, earn 1.5 times, like Sean said, on everything. So it's a good option for all that non-bonus spend.
Another credit card related story, there are rumors that the Chase Sapphire Reserve might be getting a business version coming soon, which I think a lot of people would be excited about. It's very interesting because a lot of the other banks do have their personal and business versions of their sort of high-end cards, but Chase has been different, kind of keeping their Ink business cards separate, and it's very interesting here. But some of the rumors that it could have a sign-up bonus, 150,000 ultimate rewards with 15,000 in spend, a $400 annual travel credit, around a $700 annual fee is the rumor, and a new color scheme, I guess, blue and gold. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited about the color scheme.
It makes too much sense not to, except for the fact that we saw them lose, their butts on the Sapphire Reserve when they launched it. And that was at 100K. I know the annual fee was a lot lower, but I wonder if this is going to be the same type of issue, or maybe they're not going to market it as heavily and just kind of let word of mouth take it on. I don't know, but everybody else does it. Amex has the Platinum and Business Platinum. Capital One now has the Venture X and Business Venture X. So it seems like this is a logical step for them to take, and I think it would be a wildly popular card. I mean, if you're going to keep one of the two, I'd keep the business version between that or the Sapphire Reserve, if it has all the same type of, like, 1.5 cents through the portal on redemptions and everything like that. Pay yourself back maybe as an option. So I think it would be super popular. It's just a question of, does it make financial sense to them? Did they learn from the first go around?
Yeah, I think this is almost something Chase has to do with Capital One and American Express, looking at the lounge angle and everything else like that. Not everybody wants the personal card. People have businesses and they want to spend. It's interesting because if you look at the Chase Inc. bonuses over the last couple of years, they've been high. We just talked about the $900 90,000 point bonus on a no annual fee card. So I wonder, and we know this historically, businesses spend more, they're more profitable customers. So maybe that is the differentiator here, making it 15,000 in spend at 150K, charging that higher annual fee. I could see this working better than the Sapphire Reserve. They have a ton of data from that as well. So I think that the business aspect is good for them. And I think this gives them that business platinum competitor that they sort of need for this 360 brand that they're putting together with lounges and everything else as these banks sort of consolidate. So I think it's exciting. It's good. Who knows what the value will be there, but $700. I hate these higher and higher annual fees. I miss the days of $450.
Yeah, I think that's why people were so excited with the Venture X when it launched, $400, and you get points and credits that offset most of it. The credit has gotten more annoying now that you have to use it through the portal versus, getting the credit and it's an actual coupon in the portal type of thing. So it's harder to make that work for some, but I think that they kind of threaded that needle that it got people excited and offered enough value. So we'll have to see. And I think the ink cards have been kind of saturated. The market's kind of saturated with them. I don't think people are as excited, about them, or they've already gotten each of those. So I think this would be a new opportunity to get people in there. And then, like you said, anybody that has a business that they travel a lot, the ink cards aren't really a great setup for them. So this kind of taps into a new market for them. So maybe they open it up to new players, new card holders, all that stuff, instead of just adding another card to the same address.
On this week's MTM Travel podcast, we talked with David Ockam about some of the data behind the points and miles space and a really interesting conversation. And one of the data points we found was only 40% of the people surveyed use Citi ThankYou points, which was a big surprise to me. Citi sort of following behind as we talk about all these other programs, but they did add a transfer partner recently, Preferred Hotels I Prefer points. And it's an interesting transfer because you get 4 I Prefer points for every ThankYou point. And it sounds great in theory. You wrote an article kind of saying that it isn't all that great because you could only find 4 hotels where they had
Yeah.
availability to redeem the points.
And most people couldn't find any. So, if you read all the other, write-ups, they're like, all I could find is cash and points, if that. And every hotel I checked, and I figured out a way to search all the hotels. And sometimes 2 would come up, sometimes 5 would come up, sometimes 4 would come up. So their system isn't great to start with. And then when I clicked through, only 4 of them actually got to the point that I could book them. If you can find the award space for the hotel, it's actually a really good value coming from Citi. You're getting, 2.5 to 3.5 cents per point for most of these. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it. 1 Citi point getting you on average 3 cents back. So if it was a functional program, it would be amazing. Sounds like quite a few hotels never even enroll in the points program. So you're fighting that. And then funny enough, Citi has, a partner that actually books the same hotels, not at a better rate, but you get better search results and you have better availability, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, Choice Hotels can let you do that. And am I wrong in saying that Choice Hotels had a lot more availability? How is that possible that they have all these properties that you can't even book directly with their own points?
Yeah, I don't know if they give a better, payout to the hotels and they worked out a different deal for that. But yeah, you find a ton more hotels searching it through Choices program versus searching through I Prefer Hotels, Preferred Hotels own program. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's only a 2-to-1 transfer ratio versus 4-to-1 for your Citi ThankYou points. So you're probably not going to get as good of a value out of it. But if you can't book hotels, what does it matter value wise? So I would say most of the time, if you can find availability through Preferred Hotels own program and you're transferring Citi points, that will be the way to go. If not, check Choice Hotels, see if maybe they're showing availability. And if they are, that's going to be your option.
Yeah, some of these properties are exciting and the value is exciting when you look at the number of points, especially through Preferred Hotels program. So if they could fix this or get this to the point now where maybe it gets a little bit more prime time viewing and they can get more properties online, this is something I think to put in the back of people's heads because the value is there when you're looking at these transfers and ThankYou points. So we just need the properties. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about this, hoping that it gets better because I think we need more and more hotel options that aren't Hyatt. And I know that's what everybody goes to, but some of these hotels look really great.
Yeah. And I did a couple searches in the bigger cities. You can find, if you can find the space and everything. Yeah, some of these offer insane values when you look at the Citi points that you'd have to transfer over to get there. Like Kyoto was one. It looks like a really nice hotel, gives me like Park Hyatt type vibes. And I think it was like 12,500 Citi thank you points transferred essentially. When you and if you break that down of the cash out value of those, that's $125 to stay at a 4 or 5 star type hotel. That's pretty insane.
And now for some cool S. We teased it a little earlier in the show, Evermore Resort in Orlando. And this is a huge resort. Conrad Orlando, we've talked about. I don't even know how to describe this place. Big lagoon, huge resort. There's a Conrad. There's other hotels and things there. It's even within the Grand Cypress area, I believe. So you have the golf course and wider stuff. But
Yep.
why don't you just tell everybody why this is so cool?
Yeah, and we'll go into more detail on this on the next week's full on podcast or long form podcast. We'll talk about this whole trip, but it's I just wanted to talk about this one cool thing, the bay. I call it the lagoon, but it's the Evermore Bay. It's just like this awesome, huge pool. That's essentially what it is. There's beach all around it, or fake turf, grassy, palm trees, everything. Space for miles. It feels like that if you want to get away from people, there's a spot there that you can find and get away from people and swim, hang out, sit on a lounger. Conrad has their own little private beach area that nobody else from the Evermore rentals can use, but if you're staying at the Conrad, you can basically go anywhere, which is really cool. So you kind of have like the best of both worlds there, and it's just a big pool. Like I thought it might be sandy in it, because there's beach all around it, but you walk in and it's a concrete pool. In the swim areas, it goes up to 8 feet deep, and you can get kayaks, paddle boards. You can take those out into the center part of it, into the deep part of the pool and everything. And it's pristine. It's like bright blue. It looks like you're in the Caribbean. It's crazy. I never saw like anything floating in it. So they must have some crazy system that sucks everything down quickly. So you're not getting like leaves or anything just kind of floating and making it look dirty at all. It looked perfect pretty much the entire weekend.
It looks like a stunning space. I can't wait to go in it. So you can swim and go across any part of that water, right? The entire water is open for activities like swimming and everything else. No?
No. So there's roped off swimming areas. They don't have like lifeguards everywhere. And then two, I don't think they want, paddleboarders to run over you or anything if you're swimming. It would be really cool if you could swim out in the middle. But you can swim in the swimming areas. They go up to 8 feet deep. So it does get pretty deep towards the rope lines. And then the center is more for the boats. They even have like a crisscross wood boat parked there. I don't know if it ever goes out, but how cool would it be to take a like $100,000 boat or whatever it is out and through a pool, basically?
Yeah, this place looks insane. And I can't wait to talk more about your room and everything else on the MTM Travel podcast. But I've been lusting over that pool ever since the first time I saw it. So I definitely need to go stay there. Super unique in Orlando. Best pools in all of the US, I would say. So many amazing pools in that city.
Yeah, it really, if you're a pool person or you have kids that want all that type of stuff, we talked about the Waldorf Astoria pools in Hawaii, and I think this was kind of more unique than that, even though those were amazing pools. I thought that this thing like just knocked my socks off.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. American Airlines' cool new technology that alerts them to cheaters, the Spirit Frontier merger, credit card news, Sapphire Reserve business. Would you be excited for that? The Evermore pool. Let us know what you guys think about all of that. We do 2 shows a week, this show every Wednesday, and then our MTM Travel long form podcast on Mondays. We'd appreciate you subscribe, leave a thumbs up, comment on any of our videos. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.